Hello. Hello there. Welcome to Trisha's Cards and Crafts. I'm Trisha. And oops, I think I've put my sound on again. Let me turn that down. Oops. Oops, I don't know what I'm doing here. Right, let's try again. There we go. Right, sorry. Right, today I'm going to be making, oops, this is still making a noise. There we go. Right, sorry. I'm going to be making some Halloween treat containers, bags, and I'm going to be using the spooky sweet so it's SWEET for sweet spooky, and sweet is SUITE, for the fact that we're going to be using the spooky Halloween. I'm not going to be using the dies. Well, I might be using some of them. The stamp set and the dies, and the spooky sweet 12 by 12 designer speciality designer series papers. We've got a set of these papers here. There's 2 sheets of these die cut shapes that you can just pop out. I'm going to be using some of those because it'll be, just thought it would be a bit quicker to use them that way. Then these are only one-sided, and then you've got double-sided paper. So you've got this one with the different characters on, and that's got a dotted orangey pumpkin pie background. There's another sheet of that. Then you've got another full sheet that's got different images. Now you could use these separately, or you could use them all in one. So it depends on what you want to do. So these would be separate, but you could use that one as a strip on a scrapbook page maybe. And that's got a pink petunia pop, I think it is, background. Then we've got, that's another sheet, the same sheet as this one. Then you've got this one with all different sweets on, with stars and sweets, Halloween sort of treats, the candy corn and lollipops and fizzes and things, and that's got a black and grey background with some orange sprinkled on it as well, a diagonal pattern. Then you've got this pattern with lots of different windows with different things in the windows, and that's got white with orange on the background, all stippled on. And then if I can get the other page, then you've got this strip, which is another strip that I'll be using some of, and you can cut these up. So you can cut the strips out, and then you've got lots of different tags and things that you could use. And then there's another sheet of that, and that's got grey pattern on the back. And then there's another sheet of those characters as well. So there's also in the suite, there's these embellishments. They're the shimmer star foam stickers, and you get, they're sort of glittery, and they're also a bit squishy, so they wouldn't fit in this container, but they're glittery and they're like foam, so they sort of squish when you press them as well. But if you use, you've got white, the purpley colour, and the black, but if you wanted to, you can colour the white ones in with your blender pens as well. Oops, I've got another one of those now. So I don't know whether it says, no, it doesn't say about the colours on those. It probably says it in the details on this online. You also get this pack of iridescent treat bags. They're food safe. And you get 20 of these, so in a packet, and I'll be using some of these. That's what I've used to make these treat bags that I've got. So they open at one end, they're flat, so there's no gusset or anything in them. So I'll be showing you 3 different ways to use these, and they change colour depending on what is behind them as well, what colours you use with them. There's the stamp set and dies, and the final thing that's in the set is this iridescent iridescent ribbon. It's 1/4 of an inch wide, or 6.4 millimeters, and there's about 10 yards on the reel. Okay, so that's what I'll be using today. These are the ones that I've already made. So this one, I've just used the bag as it is. I've put a piece of card inside and cut some of the die cuts out. I used one of the cutter parts that you can use, and I've added some Happy Halloween from the stamp set, and some of the stamps, stars stickers, and I've tied it with some of the ribbon to make for the bow to keep it sealed. I was going to use staples, and then I realised I don't have the right size staples for my stapler. So I'll be using the ribbon to tie it. So there's 4 little of the fun size treat bars inside. So that's how that one is. That's what that one's like. Then I've also made this one. This is a quite straightforward one, really. Again, I've used some of the strips that I've cut apart, and I just fishtailed the end of that one. I added one of the things that you can pop out from the one sheet. I stamped Spooky on this one and just added that one again to another one of the cutter parts, and I tied it with some ribbon. So again, this is just got some of the fun size bars as well. And the other one, the last one I'll be showing you, is this one. I will do a different closing on this one, on the one I'll do, because I'm going to use a different character inside. The only reason I did this closing, which was one of these strips which I cut in half, and then I've got one on the front and one on the back, and just tied it with some linen thread. Again, I've got the stars on there as well. Oh, with this one, as you can see, I coloured the white ones in orange with some Timid Tiger Dark, just so that I thought it would be a nice change for rather than using white, because it wouldn't show up so well. So I've used the purple on this one, and this one has got black inside it, and I've just used one of the characters, but I used the biggest character that was there. And of course, if I'd used the closure that I was going to use, it would have cut him off, so I couldn't put that one on there. So this one's the same size bag. They're all the same size bags, and they all fit the same amount inside, but it's just that it depends on how you would like to give them to people. So you can either make them like this, simple, very simple, this one like this, or like this one. Okay, so these are what we're going to make. I'll just put these to one side. So we'll start off with the very simple one. So we will be making this one first. So for this one, we'll use one of these, and instead of the orange back sheet this time, I'll use the green, just to give it a different colour, especially as we're going to have the sweets inside. And we'll need a little bit of white, which I'll find in a moment. So we need the bag and some sweets inside, and we will need a character to put on the front. So I thought this time, what should we use? Maybe we could use this. I'm not quite sure. I think it's a dog in a bat cup. No, it's got to be a bird. But it just looks, I've never seen a bird looking like that, but we'll see. So we could use, I'll take this out. I mean, we could do one of the characters from the stamp set. You could make this cat or the dog, and colour them in, and then cut them out. You can either cut them out by hand, or you can use the die set to cut them out with. and she could be holding the broomstick and he could be holding the pumpkin there. But I think for the speed we'll use one of these characters. So this time I'm going to use, oh actually I quite like this raven on the pumpkin, and we could have a couple of those bats as well. So we'll take this one out. They just pop out. They're very simple to take off, and we'll have two of these bats. One, just two. Yeah, that should do. Or should we have three? Maybe we should have three. I'll take this one as well from here. There we go. So there's three of those. Hopefully I won't lose any like I did last week when I was making the haunted home. But less said about that, the better. Could have used some of the candy corn or whatever they're called. So that's those. And we've got, for this one, I think I might just put the hole through this one and stick that over the top like that, because he'll probably fit on better with these little bats. Maybe we just need one bat. Yeah, I think we might just need the one. We won't use three unless we could put one down there and one up there maybe. There we go, like that. So we'll get this one done, and we need a little piece of white card, which I put here somewhere. A strip of white card that I've got here, and the spooky stamp, and I've got some Memento Tuxedo black ink, and we'll just stamp this on here. There we go. Just let that dry a second, and we'll cut this up and we'll stick these on. So I'm going to punch a hole in the top of this here. And I've got my cropped out. There is a small punch that we've got, but it's only 1/8 of an inch, and if I want to get the ribbon through, I don't think it's going to be quite big enough. So this one here is a larger hole on this one, so I'm going to use that, my crocodile. But you can use any hole punch you've got, or even if you haven't got a punch, just use the scissors, and you can make the hole with your scissors, or if you've got a pokey tool, you can use a pokey tool to make the hole. Whatever you've got, that's fine. So I'm just going to cut up. I'm following that white line also parallel to it to just go to the center. Cut that out to make my fishtail. There we go. And there's those. So we'll stick these on now. So we're gonna, I think I've lost a bat. Oh well, maybe we'll leave the two bats off and we'll just use the one. So I'm going to stick this on. I'm going to put this on with, I'll just trim. When you trim that, you might end up with a little bit of the orange that was next to it. So I'll just trim that off slightly, just a tiny little slither. And we'll fit you on, might put you over the, because I want to fit my spooky on as well. So we'll put him on with some dimensionals. And oh, I have got the three. they're here. Right, we'll put those on with some dimensionals as well, but I'll use the smaller ones if I can find some. I've got some black ones, these will do. And we'll use one on each of these. There we go. So we'll take these off and put this one on. Put him on there, and then add our bat over the top, over here, and then we'll trim this one down. Again, I might just use my scissors, and so that I match the end of this, I might just fishtail, so you can take that off. So cut up to the middle with this one, and we'll just meet in the middle. There we go. So that's my little spooky to go on there. Might just slip him under a little bit, so I'm not going to raise him up on dimensionals. I'll just put this one flat. I don't need to go all the way to the tails because they're going to be hanging off the end. So hello if there's anybody out there. If not, hello if you're watching later. If you can, say hello, and hopefully I'll be able to see you. I'm hoping. So that's my panel, and this will go onto the black one here, and I think I might just use some Seal Plus for this one, just to make sure it doesn't come off, because this is the strongest of the adhesives. If I can, there we go, make sure, there we go, there's plenty on there. And I'll add this now to the front of this. There we go, so it's about centered. And then we'll add these two little bats above and below, or maybe I'll add it and a second one to this card. We'll put him on the spooky bit. There we go. So now we just need to fill our bag with some sweets. There it is. I was thinking, what have I done with it? They take sort of, well, they take at least 4 anyway, easily. 1, 2, 3, 4 different sweets. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie the ribbon first, and I will explain why in a moment. So I'm going to put this, wrap this around the bag and tie it. Don't need quite that much, that should be plenty. Whoops, now the bag's very slippery, so we just need to be careful when we're tying this up, because we just want it to gather. To do with another hand. There, right, that's better. Now I've got a lot of ribbon there. Now I'm not going to tie any, actually I will, I'll tie it in a knot so that it doesn't come undone. There we go. Now, the reason, whoops, I need to cut that off. I do need to cut that off. I don't need that much. Maybe to there. Is these two ends are going to thread through the holes that I've made on these two tags, and they're going to go through the hole together, hopefully, maybe. There we go. one's longer than the other. And I'm going to pull them right to where the knot is. So the knot will just pop through. But by tying a bow, it'll stop the tags from coming off. So this around here. Make a bow. Pop the ribbon through. And then just, there we go. So we'll just trim the ribbon just to make the ends look tidy. There we go. So there's our first treat bag. Really simple and easy to make, and everything, you don't even have to do any stamping if you don't want to, apart from, well, you don't have to put the spooky on if you don't want to, but there you go. For the first treat bag is made. So I now have 2 of these. They don't have to make them all the same. I just think it's quite nice having the 2 different strips as well at the back, just to make it look a bit more interesting. So there's your first bag done. Now for the second one, again, this is quite a straightforward one to make because we're not doing anything too tricky. Oh, I didn't put the stars on. And what I'll do, I will use some, that's clever, I should have got it out, some lemon lime twist. Hang on a second, I'll just grab, or even granny apple green, I don't mind which one, whichever one I can get out easily. Which one's this? Dark granny apple green. Oh, hang on, there's another one. Sorry about my arm getting in the way. Here we go. Light lemon lime twist, this will do. So I'm going to use these white stars, and I'm just going to take that one off there, put it back on the sheet. There we go. And I'm just going to colour 3 of these, so I'll do one big one, one middle-sized one, and one small one. There we go. They don't take long to dry, being the blenders, because they're alcohol ink, so they tend to dry very quickly. And rather than try and pick them up with my fingers, I'm going to use my take a pick tool, and we'll put one here, one down here. Whoops. It's on my finger. One there, and a little one over here. There we go. So there's my first bag. Right, sorry. We'll carry on with the second one now. So for this one, I did do some die cutting. I also used one, I'm going to use a different one for this one this time. I'm just going to use a strip of card to go across instead of doing the dovetailing. I used the party banner dies to do this. This one, I think it's about the 4th or 5th one, maybe more from the end. I'll show you the party banner dies. These are them. Hang on, I've got a purple star on my finger. I don't know where that came from. Put that there for now. So the party banner dies, again, you don't have to use dies. You can, if you cut up to the middle and then go from each end to the middle to meet where the end of your cut is, you will end up with hopefully a centered fishtail, but if you, or a banner. So if you wanted to though, you can use these dies. Now I think the one I used was this one. Let's see, all I did was just try to see where how wide, no, it was the next one up, maybe. So I looked to see which ones would fit on the bag, which is how I found this one. So it's the 4th one from the largest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th largest die. But for the one I'm going to use the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th from the smallest this time to do the other one. So I'm going to just fold this one over. You've also, with these dies, you also get little holes that you can put, and you also get little strengtheners as well that you can use for the holes too. So these are great because you can use them with lots of different projects, to make banners, or you can just make, I've made a box out of them, you can make bags with them, you can do all sorts. You don't just have to make banners. Okay, so for this one I'm just going to use a piece of this card that I've already cut. So I've cut this. I might trim it down a bit because I don't necessarily need it to be that wide, so I might cut it to about 2.5 inches, I think. Not 2.5, 5 inches. And at the moment it's about 6 inches. So I'll just trim this off with my trimmer. And I've got a white one as well now. I don't know where all these stars keep coming from. There we go. So I'll just cut this one off at 5 inches, and then I will score it at 2.5. So if you're using metric, it'll be 12.7 centimeters you cut it at, and it's 6.3 centimeters where you will fold it ish. So that's going to be my fold. You can use whichever side you like. It's not really directional. I've got a scrap of black card that I'm going to use to cut my castle haunted house in. There's the dies, and I've got a few. This is the dies that come with the stamp set. So we've got a house and we've got some bats. So I'm just going to cut these out, and I can use my mini die cutting machine. Right, here we go. Let's put that on there, and a bit more for the house, and I'll get my mini die cut and emboss out. Here we go. Again, I could have used some of the elements that are from the die cut sheet, but I just thought it'd be nice to do something different for a change. Right, where are my cutting plates? Ah, there they are. Here we go. So we'll put that on there, and we'll just, whoops, run this through. There we go. Can put this away. There we go. Take these out. They just fall out. Looks great. They come out really easily. And so we've got two little shapes that fall out. The door and the windows. I haven't got much of some nails that I could do with at the moment. But there we go. Every now and again they just break off, and it happens to be now at the moment. So I've got very short nails on some of my fingers. It's odd, but there you go. So everything just falls out of there. This one will come out now. I'll just take this is the post-it note tape that you can get. I bought mine from Amazon, but you can use any sort of any tape that you've got, whether you've got washi tape. Just make sure you take any sort of sticky off. You can just use a post-it note if you want to. That will work as well, just as well. And we'll get this bat out here. Nope, just pop him out. There we go. There's the die there. So I've got my 2 bats and my house, and I need a piece of the bag. I've got some grey card, so somewhere the grey card. Well, this is clever. What have I done with it? Oh, it's underneath. That's why I couldn't find it. So I've cut, these bags are approximately 4 by just over 6 inches. So I've cut a piece. I might just have to trim a slight bit more off this and take some off the top as well. So I'm going to cut this down to I need to cut that off first. So I want it to be about 5 inches because we'll be putting something over the top, so we don't need it to be 6 inches even. So that one can come off there, and then we'll just cut a slither off the side. So let's have a look, see what this is like, see if this will fit in before I do this one. Yes, there we go. So that's will go inside now. So we've got, the last thing we need is, I'll use, no I won't, I'm going to use the green one. Oh, I could use, no, I'll use the green one again for this one, only because the orange looks as though it should be portrait rather than landscape because of the skull shape there, and the same with the little tags as well. They look as though they should be hanging down rather than going across, but we could do there, why not, we'll do this one, we'll have a change. I'm just going to cut that across there and across there, just to cut the corners off, make it a little bit more interesting. So we would need to put our house and bats on here. There we go. So that they will go on here. I'll use some Tombow for this. Here we go. Hope you're all well and enjoying. Well, we had reasonably good weather today. Hopefully it was all right where you are. It's been quite a nice day today, although we're trying to get some work done in our attic room because my one daughter has moved out and we need to use the room so we need to get to try and tidy up some of the things that she's left behind, which is fine, but just takes a bit of time going through everything. There we go. So there's one and two. Again, if you wanted to, you could put something behind this as well to colour it, or you could colour it in even if you wanted to make it look as though there was. We'll try. I don't think it'll work very well on the grey, but we can try. Let's see. So I've got a blender pen. This is Dark Timid Tiger. We'll see. We could put it in colour. Whoops, colour in the windows. Luckily. Windows. Same for this one. There we go. So you can colour them in to make it look as though there are lights inside. why not? And now we need to stamp our sentiment on here. So I've got a Happy Halloween here on my block. So I use some Memento black ink, Tuxedo black, and we'll put that on here. Just make sure that the ink has time to set. There we go. Right, so now we can put, we don't need that there, we can put this inside our plastic envelope bag here. So add that there. As you can see, the colours change when you put them in, so I don't think it makes much difference on as to which side. This is the light, this is the two-tone cardstock, so this is light and this is the dark side, but I think it looks okay whichever side you decide to use. I'm going to add my sweets to inside the bag. We need 4. Put that one back for now. So we put these in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just going to fold that over and bend it, crease it so that it stays put, and then we're going to add this over the top, and again I'm going to punch the holes in, and I'm going to tie the ribbon before I put the tag on top, so this time which I didn't do last time. So then we can put I'll just put a hole on each side. There we go. And we'll get some ribbon again to tie it up with. This time I'm going to go through that hole, this hole, and come around the back. I'll just trim that again, and then through this hole here. There we go. And we're going to make sure it's straight. So, tie the bow. It's not so easy doing that when it's still on the reel, but I want to make sure I don't waste any ribbon. So we will tie the ribbon, bring it through, make our bow, just make it a bit smaller, and then make sure it's, there we go. And then I'll just trim off my ribbon. And over here, there we go. So there's my ribbon. So I've tied my bow. I'm going to put the Happy Halloween underneath there. And I'll put those on again with some dimensionals. Again, I'll use the larger dimensionals. You don't need to use too many, it's fine. And there we go. 1, 2, 3. We'll put this underneath the bow. Whoops, just about fit. This one. And you can also move this around so we've got the bow over there at the side, that's fine. And I'll use some black stars on here again, I think. Yeah, if I can get them out. I just find it easier using these plastic containers to put my my embellishments in, because they're easier to grab, and the other plastic every now and again it just it can be a bit tricky. So I'll put another one. Whoops, I'm stuck to my finger. There we go. So the black one's on this one. There we go. And I've just got stars everywhere again, all over me, stuck to me. Right, here we go. Now I've got another one, or even two, and I can't get these apart, so they can go in the bin. There we go. Let's just put these two from over here away as well. A white one, and then I'll just try again to put this one back inside. There we go. And push that down until the next one. So that's my second bag again. So we've got two different ones. We could add some maybe candy corn to this one if we wanted to, but I think they look quite nice. So you can either use the banner dies or just cut yourself a banner shape, or you can just do it straight across and have it like that. So you've got another pouch there. So that one's done. Now the third one is slightly more involved. So for this one, what we've done, I've used I've forgotten her name. What a lady, I'll try and put it into the description, the person I saw making these, and she used some Secret Sea inside, and so it changes the colour almost of the plastic, so the iridescence sort of changes colour. So this one looks more blue, and those look more sort of pinky. So it just depends on what colours you use with it, and I think that one looks quite pinky as well with the grey, but that one looks more blue, but it's still the same, they're all the same colours. So this time we're going to make a sort of gusset onto the pouch. So that's what we're going to do for this one. So there's the pouch. So what we do, we've got, whoops, our bag, and we need to have a piece of card which is 2 3/8 wide by 10 1/8, and we are going to score it, oops, wrong way round, this way. We're going to score it at 4 1/4 on the long side, so 4 1/4 to score, and 5 7/8. So there. Okay, so that's all we're going to do. So it's 10 1/8 long and 2 3/8 wide, and then you score at 4 1/4 and 5 7/8. Okay, so, oh yes, we also need to score this. So if you have the opening of your bag, you want to score at 7/8 of an inch from the bottom, so not the top of the bag, the bottom of the bag. So get my scoreboard again, and we're going to put that 7/8 of an inch, bring that down. I'm just going to score it with my scoring blade there. So I've just made a mark at the bottom there. Okay, this will help when we're making it into more of a gusseted bag. Okay, so there we go. So we're going to fold, before we do this, we've got to add our character to the front of it as well. So just fold those up. It doesn't matter which side you do this on, because you just turn it around. So we'll decide, I thought this time we'd have the little bear character, the little fairy bear. And we'll use her. There we go. And I think that we don't need anything else from there for this one. So she will go on here. But what I will do this time, I'm going to use my die cutting machine to cut another banner piece from the card with the sweets on, the paper with the sweets. So I'm going to stick her on here, and I'm not going to put her on dimensionals because she's going to be inside the bag anyway. So we'll just put some Tombow on, around the edges, a bit in the middle. There we go. We'll put her. Now she can just go just a little bit up from the base. There we go. There we are. So, and we can try and put her into the bag now. So we're going to put this in like this, and then we're going to try and push this down so that it opens the bag out a little bit, but we also want it to be right at the bottom, and we want the bottom to be flat, so this needs to go right to the bottom, which it is now. Now don't worry too much about these. I mean, you don't, what I'm going to do is to use, when I've filled it up, so it will sort of stand, just sort of, whoops, make these so that they are creased. Just use, probably just use your finger, you don't need to use your nails. So we're going to put our sweets in next. Hopefully I've got 4 left. Something different. What else have I got? Oh, I got a fudge, so I won't use the 2 twirls. Right, so they are 4 different sweets in. So open it out, put the sweets in side, and we can pinch the top together. I'm going to just fold that over slightly and crease that with our fingers to hold it together. And these two, now you could either put a glue dot in and put them onto the side, or what I'm going to do is just put a glue dot on and put them underneath, so then it will hold up and it will stand up. So I've got some mini glue dots, and we're going to put one at the top of each of the triangles. There we go. And then, whoa, just fold it over and push it down. There we go. So that's done. Push that back in, fold it over, and that's ready for the closure. Now for this one to close, I have the die that I want, and I've got some card, some of the DSP already cut. Here we go. Don't need all of this, so I'm going to cut this down. This one's around about 2.5 inches on the inside, so if we cut it off at 2 3/4, we'll have plenty of room. And again, we can use the mini cut and emboss for this one. There we go. So I'm going to put that on there, and we use some tape again just on to keep it in place so it doesn't move. And mini cut and emboss again. There we go. And cutting plates. And put this on there like that. And run it through. There we go. So, whoops, I've dropped something again, the ribbon. I'll pick it up in a sec. Get this out of the way. There's the ribbon. And just take this out, put those away. And we'll take the post-it note tape off. Always do it gently because you don't want it to tear the paper at all. Doesn't usually. This has been used quite a bit as well anyway, so it's not as sticky as it was originally anyway, but there we go. So we've got our little tag to go over the top, and we could use this time I used one of those strips before, so we could use, we'll use the pink again I think, because otherwise we've got grey. We don't want grey because then it won't show up very well. So I'm going to trim this down to 2.5 inches, and I just need to take that bit of black off the side as well. So I'll trim it down to 2.5. It doesn't have to be 2, it could be a little bit less. We'll make it 2.25. Yes, right, and then we just want to trim the slither off the side just so that we haven't got the black. There we go. Get rid of that. Hopefully, if we can't fit Happy Halloween on, we'll just use the spooky one again. So let's just check to see if this will fit on. Ooh, it's a bit tight, but we'll try it. We'll give it a go. Because if I can find my ink, there we go. It's my ink. Here we go. And Happy Halloween. I should make sure that the ink has time to sink into the paper. There we go. That'll do. We could trim the little bit off the top again, just so we've got room. Line that. There we go. So we want that to be able to fit. There we go. On there. So now we're going to put this on top of our bag. So I want to put that on first. So fold that over. I should have said we need to score this, and we will. It's about 2.5 inches, just under 2.5 inches, 3.5 inches. So if we do it at about 1 3/4, it doesn't have to be in the middle, just so that we can fold it over and we've got enough to be able to put our tag over the top, so that will fit nicely on top of there. So I'm not going to put that on straight away because I'm going to put the ribbon through first. So fold that over, put that over the top, and I'm just going to hold it down while because there's a lot more thicknesses here, because I've got the card, I've got the bag, and the card, the cards, the DSP on the top. So here we go. That's another good reason why we use our crocodile, because the crocodiles are quite strong and you can cut through most things, even metal, with this. So we just go down to about there. There we go. So again, we need to put our ribbon through, and this time I think I'm going to tie the ribbon at the back, not going to tie it at the front. So we'll come through from the back this time. Because we're going to put our label over the top, so it'll just take away from the ribbon. So the ribbon, go through again. Make sure it's not twisted. There we go. And we'll tie this up. I like doing it the other way around. There we go. So up. Loop. And around. And through. If I can find the ribbon. There. Come on. Where are you? There you are. Whoops. Now I pulled it too long. There we go. Don't need a huge ribbon. Only need a bow. We only need it to be smallish. It doesn't have to be a big one for this one. So cut that, trim that off, and trim. Whoops, there. So we've got our ribbon on now, and we'll just put our Happy Halloween on some dimensionals. Just need two. There we go. And we put this on top here. Yeah, so we can just have a little bit of the ribbon showing. Okay, and then we'll put some stars again on here, but this time we'll use the purple ones. So we'll use a big one, and then one middle-sized one. Oh, that's the middle-sized one. Whoops, and I've got a small one as well. We'll put you up there. So there's our third bag. Right. The bags are, I think, £7.50 for the 20 bags. And the DSP, I can't remember. I think it's about £14. So for £21 you can make 20 treat bags, and you've got lots of the paper left over as well. You can use whatever sentiment you want to use if you've got some of your own. If you want the stamp set and the dies, those also can be, I can't remember what the bundle price is, but I can try and, you can find them all on my online shop anyway. So those are all our treat bags for today. So we've got 6 little treat bags ready. So the other thing you could do if you wanted to make some treat bags is autumn boxes or whatever to put some treats in. If you do give out treats to people when they come on Halloween, you can buy the kit that makes these little, whoops, sorry, whoops, they're falling off. These little treat boxes, and they're not that small either, so they would probably fit quite a bit inside. So we've got these 3, and the kit that you can buy, you can make 15 of these boxes, so you get 5 of each of the 3 designs, and these, they're really pretty and they hold quite a few treats. So you don't necessarily have to give chocolates. If you were having a party or something and you wanted to give something a bit more substantial, you could put bigger gifts in here because they're quite big. They are they're about 2.5 inches square and about 3 inches tall. So yeah, so you can put quite a lot. So they've got a little one with a ghost on there, and you've got just the stars and a bat and things on there, and on this one you've got another ghost with some pumpkins and iridescent or holographic ghosts on there as well. And they come with everything you need to make the boxes. Comes in the pack, including the little orange paper clips to keep them closed. You get the twine, you get the little banners, all the adhesive you need, including under all these little embellishments as well, the little stars. So they're holographic too. So you could always try, if you wanted something quick and simple to do in the holidays as well, this would be another great set to buy to keep everybody occupied. They're very straightforward. I have done a video on those, on how to put those together, so you've got that as well if you wanted to. So here, there you go. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed or you enjoy the treat bags that I've made, and maybe make some yourself. If you do, I'd love to see some photographs of the ones that you've made. And once again, thanks for joining me. Anything you've seen on here that I've used today, you'll be able to find in my online shop. That's if you're in the UK or in Europe. Anywhere else you have to buy through your own demonstrator in your own country. So, but thank you again for joining me, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. And have a happy Halloween. Thanks. Bye bye.